there is a lot of awareness actually about these energy supplies. I think one thing that has been happening a lot since the genocide is that there is a lot of expose on where are these arms coming from, where are they being built, how are they being shipped. Energy is very hard to track in that sense, because it's not just the crude oil, it's about how that product is refined and where it's refined. These fuel jets are extremely specific, and they are literally delivered by the US special tankers for the Israeli occupation forces. So, and the reason US can do that is because US has complete access to key energy corridors. So you can actually see, like, these puzzles have been put in place for so many decades before.
I'm a musician, I play guitar, I like fuzz. Fuzz is an old style, distortion style, so this is an old pocket rocket fuzz with the old transistor dating from the Cold War. And make fuzz not war is kind of a sentence that goes in pedal makers and other people who expresses solidarity with the Palestinian question and what is happening there. About 6 months ago we decided to ask musicians from the Montreal community, but also the Guelph community and some friends we have in Toronto. So about 30 bands accepted to give us original music, an original piece that they worked and recorded specifically for this project, thinking about what we can say with our voice. But I think we should think about what kind of emotion, not can we use as propaganda tool, but how emotion can be a tool in the circulation of this idea. It's just, I did that from scratch. A lot of people helped me, but I did not have a specific answer about the use of this emotion, but I think it's something collectively we have to think about.
Hi, I'm Kiva Stymack, and I'm the co-founder of the SUONI Per Il Popolo Festival, and the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors, and the daughter of anti-war activists, and I'm here because I don't believe there is any Jewish liberation without Palestinian liberation.
You are tuned into Radio AlHara, and we are live in Montreal. Joseph Sanacandro is helping with the technical side. I'm Stefan Christoff, and thank you to Ibrahim in Bethlehem, who walked us through making sure that this stream was going global on radioalhara.net. Thank you, Ibrahim. There's a beautiful panel of folks that have gathered who are doing work in the arts, but also on the streets in support of Palestine, both locally and internationally. Razan was mentioning earlier, if you look to the composition of Palestine solidarity demonstrations in Montreal, but also in Detroit or in Paris or in Johannesburg or in Delhi, and I'm mentioning all these cities because there are significant movements and actions for Palestine all around the world. I'm underlining this point because I would love to hear what people have to say about that distance between the streets and the powerful, but also how to challenge them.
Stefan, what you're asking about, that collapse between power and the streets. Very early on, we created a coalition of cultural organizations in the city without talking about PACB. And very early on, many of these organizations not just dropped out of the coalition, but at one point censored the collective and one screening. And I remember when Cinéma du Parc cancelled our Jocelyne Saab screening, what we did is that we gathered in the mezzanine of the cinema and we talked about PACB. And we realized our mistake in the working of in this confrontation with power, in refusing to go, like, stay home and write a statement. So also realizing that our work is not just in the cinema, organizing screenings as events, but rather as a confrontation with power.
The confrontation from these powerful corporate, like neoliberal institutions and entities feels like insurmountable. I have to like remind myself that this like flailing and like extreme amount of violence that is being unleashed on people, from students to community members to unhoused people on the streets, to indigenous peoples here, like, you know, McGill University is being accused by Mohawk mothers of digging through unmarked mass graves of indigenous children, where they're quote unquote rebuilding or renovating the Royal Victoria Hospital, and so like reminding myself that this violence, while extremely sometimes honestly demoralizing in specific moments, is an indication of the decline of these systems of power, a decline of their ability to keep that mask on of like, you know, we're here to protect our students or whatever. That mask coming off in and of itself is an indication that they are scrambling so hard to the point that optics are no longer a priority, and protecting their own capital interests and class interests and their investment in weapons manufacturers is the only priority.
And I'm here as a member of Bikers for Palestine, so I'm pretty much on the streets. And for us, our objective was really to keep the voices of the streets alive and loud, by organizing bike rides in Montreal to take over the streets of Montreal. And it's nothing new in the biking community. There have been initiatives like that, like critical mass all over the world, that the main goal is really to take over the streets of our city and to make it more safe and more adapted to bikes. And that's what we do. So we meet once every month, and we do it on Saturday, and we try, when there's an initiative, Palestinian-related initiative, on the same day, to try to finish the ride at the initiative.
But yeah, in relation to this conversation about distance and power, like we see, like McGill is scrambling like every other institution that is like complicit in some way in the Zionist project and the genocide. And I hate talking about the encampment because like it's just, there's such an over like romanticization about the encampment, and it's like, oh my god, like it was just a political tool that served a political purpose, but really it served a huge political purpose. And I think one thing that came out of it was that like McGill is, for context, like internationally, it's a largely Anglo elite institution. I think what came out of the encampment is that we were able to work in a coalition, like a broader coalition of Franco and, you know, diversely oriented political organizations across the city, and that people felt like they had a personal stake in McGill. And I just feel like McGill's reputation just, you know, it didn't recover from that. And I mean,
so there is also this second encampment you mentioned, Stefan, which is a Sumud encampment that took place in Square Victoria against la CDPQ, Caisse de dépôt et de placement de Québec, that invests Québécois pension funds in 76 companies related to the genocide or the occupation of Palestine. It's more than $24 billion. So the CDPQ is very nearby Square Victoria, where the Asumud encampment took place. Yeah, I can stop here or keep on talking.
Sonia, thank you for sharing that. Also say that Zoe brought, please, we can start setting up. Zoe brought her violin to the encampment at McGill and played in the day that there was going to be a court ruling to try to shut the encampment down, the Gaza Solidarity encampment here in Montreal.
We must continue to say free Palestine, and we must not look away, and do all we can in small ways to support actions like this camp. and cut the bullshit when it comes to mainstream institutions trying to slur these actions with anti-Semitism or claiming that Judaism is Zionism.
We know that people are afraid about what the students are up to, and it is very important to continue to hold your ground. So if y'all hold your ground, I'll hold it with you, and I will continue to go back to that cursed place of work, continue to wear the keffiyeh until they drag me out, because we will not stop.
And, all find small ways to contribute to that process. So thanks so much for participating.
So Radio AlHara, I just want to thank Sayed, Elias, Yusuf, and Ibrahim, who were all doing texts and coordinations and trying to access and setting up all this pretty late in Palestine. One person was doing it from bed, so thank you. And so, yeah, respect, exactly. So thank you, everybody, for being part of this discussion. There's obviously many more needed from many different vantage points, but it's good to chat and share ideas. So I'm Stefan Christoff, and we're in Montreal, and Free Palestine.